Okay, let's think about something kind of wild. What if knowledge wasn't just data? What if it had a physical shape, a place you could go, an entire universe it could live in? Well, that's the absolutely mind-bending idea behind what we're digging into today, Knowledge3D.
And this question, it gets right to the heart of one of the biggest headaches in AI today. Right now, an AI's memory is basically a black box. It's this massive, tangled mess of numbers and weights that, honestly, we can't really inspect or, truly understand. So this project comes along and asks a really simple question. What if we could just walk inside?
So here's the deal. Today's AI, for all its power, has this one huge problem. You could call it digital amnesia. Seriously, it's like trying to read a whole novel by looking through a tiny keyhole, one word at a time. That's kind of what their context window is like. And as soon as a piece of information scrolls past that little keyhole, poof, it's gone, forever. The team behind K3D says, look, the answer isn't just to build a bigger AI. The answer is to completely change the architecture of its mind.
So what's the solution then? How do you fix that? Well, the core idea for Knowledge3D is just brilliant in how simple it is. They call it Minecraft for cognition. Think about that. Instead of treating knowledge like some boring database you just send queries to, K3D turns it into a game world, a place where ideas are literal building blocks, and it's a shared space for us and for the AI.
Okay, let's get a little more specific. What exactly is K3D? At its core, it's designed to be a cognitive operating system. Think of it like Windows or Mac OS, but for thinking. It's an open standard that can take any kind of data. We're talking text, images, code, you name it, and it organizes it all into a 3D universe you can actually walk around in. And here's the most important part. This isn't just a pretty visualization. Nope, it's a real, functional, shared world for thinking.
And this is where things get really clever. You know how for decades we've used these little spatial metaphors to understand computers? We talk about our desktop, we put things in folders. Well, K3D flips that whole idea on its head. It takes those metaphors and makes them literal. So the internet stops being just a bunch of linked pages. It becomes a network of actual places you can go to.
Take the folder, for example. We all know what that is. Well, in K3D, a folder or a data set or even a whole piece of software, it becomes a room you can literally walk into. Just imagine a house for medical science. In one room, you've got this amazing 3D protein folding simulation running. And right next door, you walk through a doorway into a massive library of genomic data. You don't open them as programs. You just walk right in.
So how do you get from one place to another? You're not clicking on a blue underlined hyperlink, I'll tell you that. In the K3D universe, hyperlinks become doors. Or even better, portals. And I love this. The white paper literally references the game Quake. You can open a portal and just step through. 1 second you're in your personal workspace, the next you're inside a shared project space with your team. It's a totally seamless spatial jump.
And this whole spatial logic, it goes all the way down to the basic addresses of information. So forget about URLs. In K3D, every single piece of knowledge has its own unique X, Y, Z coordinates. Now this is a huge shift because it means you find information not by typing in its name, but by understanding its meaning and its relationship to everything else in that space.
Okay, but here is where it gets absolutely wild. In this world, the AI isn't some tool you boot up or a chatbot in a window. No, the AI is a resident. It has its own avatar, and it lives, learns, and moves around this 3D universe right there with you. It's not a program you use, it's a participant. So you might be asking, how is that even possible? It works because of this really cool principle called dual client, one reality. Basically, you and the AI are looking at the exact same world, but seeing it through different eyes. We see a rich 3D game environment. The AI sees the very same shapes and objects, but it perceives them as raw data, something called vector embeddings, which are attached to every single surface. You can think of it as a numerical fingerprint for meaning. So the AI isn't just seeing a tree, it's literally seeing the meaning of the tree.
And this system is what's designed to finally solve that digital amnesia problem we talked about. K3D uses a memory system that's actually modeled on our own brains. First, you've got something called galaxy memory. Just think of this as the AI's RAM, its active working mind. It's a temporary space where new ideas are just floating around like geometric stars. But then there's house memory. This is the hard drive. This is a stable, persistent 3D world where knowledge that's been verified gets built into real objects, like books in a library or even trees in a garden of ideas.
Okay, so how does this universe actually work? I mean, what are its laws of physics? It's incredible, really.
It all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful rule.
And here it is, the core axiom: spatial proximity equals meaning. That's the whole game. That's the foundational logic for the entire system. What that means is the abstract idea of how similar two concepts are becomes a literal, physical distance you can measure. So for an AI to find related ideas, it doesn't have to run some complex database query. It just looks around. Simple as that.
And this simple rule is what blows the lid off that black box problem with AI. Explainable AI. Suddenly the AI's thought process isn't a mystery anymore. It's a physical journey. You can watch its avatar literally walk a path from one idea to the next. Its entire reasoning process becomes completely transparent. You can see it, you can follow it, you can audit it.
All right, let's zoom out for a second, because this vision is way bigger than just a new memory system for AI. The people building this see it as the actual foundational layer for the next version of the internet, what they're calling the spatial web, or Web 4.0. And you can see the whole progression right here. You had Web 2.0 and 3.0, which gave us a web of information built on flat text and links, but it was always held back by that digital amnesia problem. Now, the next step, Web 4.0, or the spatial web, is all about immersive AR and VR worlds. But there's a missing piece, right? A unified, intelligent brain to run it all. And that's the layer K3D is built to be, the cognitive OS.
This brings us to a really fundamental shift in how we think about software. We're moving from software as a service, or SaaS, to software as a space. Think about it. Your apps are no longer these isolated little tools that you open in a window. Instead, you'd have an AutoCAD space or a Photoshop space, these persistent, shared environments where you and your AI partner can just walk in and start working together.
And of course, this kind of world creates a whole new digital economy around it. You could have plug-in galaxies. They're kind of like browser extensions, but they add entire domains of knowledge to your universe. Companies could sell custom houses, which are basically fully built software spaces. And you'd have a marketplace where people can buy and sell individual knowledge objects, almost like an asset store for a video game.
Which, brings us right back to where we started. K3D is this huge, ambitious vision. It's about building a shared reality where knowledge isn't just something we write down, it's something we build and inhabit. A world where humans and AI can finally work together as real partners. And it just leaves you with this one final thought. What new worlds are we going to discover when AI memory becomes a place we can all explore together?